Hello. I'm just going to be making a couple clarifications on the last track, as well as just some sort of more broader statements about the album, seeing we're about halfway through. I think this is sort of a good place to stop, and at least for me, writing the album, doing everything, sort of, if not explain to the audience, explain to myself why I'm doing this, and the spirit behind it. The first two clarifications for the last track were two phrases I said that I think could be misconstrued. And mostly I don't care when it comes to that, but I think these two in particular, considering it's such an important topic to me, and just I think it's a great track. I don't want there to be any questions of what I said on the track itself. And this is mostly, again, for me, my own mind, my own peace, when it comes to saying exactly what I mean. The first lyric I'd like to clarify is, and I quote, "I could say something real mean, like the Department of Education is being run by the WWE, so we don't need any midget wrestling." And the first clarification with that quote is, I don't want people to think that I think midget wrestling is not a really important and interesting form of entertainment and art, because I think it's really neat. I also just want to say to Robert Reich and to everyone and to myself too, is that making fun of someone because of what they can't control, what their physical appearance is, it's not cool, and it's stupid, honestly. And I can see how that phrase, and maybe not just subconsciously but consciously, I chose that phrase because of Robert Reich's height, and because I thought it was, it was kind of clever, but I just want to make it very clear to everyone, including myself, that was not why I did that. I didn't do it to insult his height, but the deeper meaning behind that phrase for me personally was to show that what Robert Reich is doing is just another form of entertainment. That's what that phrase was referencing. That's why I said we don't need a midget wrestling. It wasn't to call him a midget. It was to call what he was doing as another form of political entertainment. And yeah, that's basically what it was. That was the meaning behind it, while also recognizing that even in the song later I said that's not something I would ever actually say. It was more of a thought that happened to come out in music. And that's an excuse, Still is just being mean at the end of the day. That's not cool. Yeah, that phrase in general, I think there's some good and some bad to it. I think there's some deeper meaning behind it, but at the end of the day, it still is just insulting someone. So it's not something I'm proud of. At the same time, I'm not ashamed of it either. It's kind of one of those phrases that I think I'm gonna have mixed feelings on. That's okay. Robert Reich, in particular, I'd like to say this thing too when it comes to just solidarity in general. I think we share a lot of similar viewpoints, and this is sort of a bit of an idea is just sort of thrown out there. If you're interested, the maybe starting a sort of a wrestling union or a boxers union. I'm not sure if there's boxing unions, or because these guys, especially for wrestling and for midget wrestling, for all forms of wrestling, there's no real protections when it comes to their safety and their health, and I think maybe if you could help me with starting something like that, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, and anything you could help out local stuff when it comes to the housing crisis, any of that stuff in general, I think is great stuff that you do. But it can be feel a little ingenuine when you have multiple homes or so on and so forth. And that is sort of the main criticism with you in the song. And for that, I don't feel any qualms about it. I just want to say I feel like my criticisms are very valid. It's just more so the language that I use. Yeah, that's the main clarification, for me at least. But, I still stand by it. The second clarification I would like to make for this last track is regards to the lyric, and I quote, "I can't help but be a hopeless romantic for that expired milk I'm grabbing." And that was referencing the milk at the schoolyard that you used to get, the clover milk, the chocolate milk, strawberry milk, maybe, I don't know. And it was often expired. And that is one of the things that actually Mainstream Moms has addressed and done a pretty good job at. And my main criticism with them in general is just lack of organization and maybe, yeah, that's basically it. Just organization and consistency when it comes to fulfilling these programs and promises. And there's also things that can be done that I think aren't being done or even recognized due to the systemic nature of racism, especially in an area which is majority white and extremely affluent. And I think Mainstream Moms, I'm just using that as just an example in the song, as someone that's not doing enough, as a local system of change which is not really truly changing anything. We're not looking at the folks that need some support or whatever. We're just looking at ourselves, and it's not cool. When you see someone struggling you don't know, you gotta just pick them up. You gotta try to pick them up. Try to do something. Something! Yeah, I also want to recognize that there's a double entendre with that lyric that, that is maybe a little bit ageist and sexist. And for that, I'm sorry, because I think it's just not a true statement. When the lyric is read as a double entendre. Women don't expire with age. No one expires with age. Maybe I'm contradicting myself. It's more so the mindset. If you have a mindset that doesn't change, you do get older quicker, While if you're constantly changing, moving, and sort of working with your brain and the ideas that surround you and sort of grow and learn from them, it's a beautiful thing. It's the best thing that can ever happen. And basically, I think that's what this album is about, is maturing and getting older and sort of working within the frame that you're given. And I don't want to, I've talked with my dad in particular about this, the spirit of the song and the spirit of the album You know, sometimes it can be a mean spirit, but it's very pure. The intentions are pure. My intentions are not to put people down simply out here. You know, there's a couple people that I mentioned on the album are bad people. And by a couple, I mean, from what I know, at least so far on the album, Bob Rains,
Can't
child
believe that guy
molester,
only got
not a
6
good
months.
person.
For goodness
Other than that,
sakes.
the local people out here, good people, good people. I disagree with them politically at points. I disagree with them socially at points, and maybe just the mindsets that people have. But that's okay. That's more than okay. That's great. It's fantastic. That's why I love living out here. You know, it's home. I don't know if it's gonna be home forever, but it'll always be home in my heart. Because it's where I grew up, and it's where I've lived all my life, basically. And what a place to grow up, what a place to be able to live, what a place to walk around, and just it's awesome. It's really neat. And the people I'm talking about here are really neat too. You know, I don't want it to seem like I'm making fun of them, because the only person I'm making fun of on this thing is myself. And the universe that I sort of live in, which can be kind of scary. And for me, at least, when I'm living in the universe, if by myself, if I didn't have this home around, this beautiful home and this beautiful place I live in, and great friends and family, you know, what would life be? I don't want to think about it, you know? So that's basically what the spirit of this album is. It's not just a homage to West Marin, it's a time capsule. So maybe looking back on things, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I can look back and say, this was an interesting place to live. And the people here were a special type of people. And they hold a special kind of kinship to my heart. So that's basically what the spirit of this album is. Thank you.
All right,
very much.
enough talking. Let's do some.
Back into the Haggard verse we go.